All right, this is going to be a special video. It's going to be the last video of 2020. What a phenomenal, epic year it's been for this community, for this channel. Looking forward to an explosive 2021. Looking forward to growing with you all together. Looking forward to just strengthening this beautiful, beautiful relationship and bond we have. And looking forward to us going ahead and doing our best to continue to conquer the markets. With that all being said, I wish you and all of your families a blessed and happy 2021. All of the health and blessing upon blessing. In this video today, I'm going to be looking at some really fun stuff. I'm going to be looking over here at what possibly might be leading to the top of this bull market cycle, things that I'm watching, things that I'm looking for. These last couple of days, I've put out some really nice work on Bitcoin. We're out of our normal routine over here, and I've been able to focus a little bit more on the current Bitcoin price movement, the current point of the cycle, just answering and discussing and thinking about some important things, sharing it with you all. We're going to go ahead and continue that today. I'm going to be looking at possible indications of this coming cycle top, what I'm watching, what I'm noticing happening in the market right now. It's going to be a really fun and interesting video. Also want to talk about some other things before we get into that. I want to talk about things just building off yesterday's video. If you didn't watch it on the super cycles, do give that a watch. The feedback on that video was pretty nice. Now, in that video, I did discuss some of the things that actually could prevent you from reaching your goals during this bull market cycle. And one of those things I forgot to mention that I had the intention of was just simply noise, right? You always hear that I'm talking about focusing on signal and avoiding the noise, that distraction. I view Twitter. I see lots of noise out there. People talking about closing CME gaps, which I've said back months ago in September. Look, probably not going to happen. We still have open gaps way far down below. They'll never be closed. That's not the only distraction I'm talking about. There is and there will be lots of, let's say, lots of focused FUD that's put out there, especially on these crypto sites, right? Not to single one out, it's the only one I'm really familiar with. Cointelegraph, things of that nature. And these are paid FUD. How about we call it that? One of them, and a lot of you are probably worried about it, and rightfully so. You should always be exploring and looking, especially for any risk that is particularly against the position you're in. You should always be aware of it. One that you all might not be happy with me saying it is FUD, but is the whole Tether situation that is now appearing once again ever since we had the problem with XRP and Ripple with the SEC. Now, the reason I say that once again was because I remember very clearly back in 2017, early 2018, this was a big, let's say, market distraction, the FUD of Tether, right? Now, listen, I personally am not worried about it at all. Do I think that as we move further along towards central banks issuing their digital currencies, they're going to target and look to take out all competition? Yep. Is Tether and other stable coins possibly part of that competition, as was Facebook Libra? Yep. What do I make of that? What do I think of that? Listen, worst case scenario, what happens if tomorrow the SEC brings a case against Tether? What happens if people start exiting Tether? Where would they put their money? Into Bitcoin? Is that bearish on Bitcoin whatsoever? I don't think so. It's not even on my radar as a concern. I'm not worried about it. Look how the market shrugged off everything going on with XRP, right? What would happen if the whole Tether situation was put behind us by being addressed? Would that be net bullish or bearish for Bitcoin? I have to say it would probably be net extremely bullish for Bitcoin. For me, it's not something that I'm worried about. I don't mean to. I really wanted to talk about it just to give you my opinion. Just because I say it, that's meaningless. Well, it's not, just because I say it, don't take it my word for it. Do your own research. I am absolutely fallible. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again, right? No question about that. And I just wanted to get that out there to you, just in case that helps you kind of focus your research and form your own opinion. Now, what I do want to get into today and what I do want to share with you is some really exciting things. Why I say exciting is because for me, I have this great love for going over the charts. I have a great love for being able to look at these trends and being able to put all of this together. I just want to share with you and show with you what is going on right now with me today. And because it's the end of the year, I didn't plan on making and releasing a video today, but I really wanted to end this year on a really strong and solid note, as this year has been absolutely fantastic. By the way, if you've been a part of this community, if you are watching this video now, if you enjoy the work we're doing, please go ahead and smash that like button, help support the channel, help support my work. Do greatly appreciate that, and I know I don't tell you enough. So go ahead, smash that like button. But what I wanted to get into today is talking about where we are in this current cycle. I want to put it together. I want to look at some things that I'm watching. This is from lookintobitcoin.com. You can find these indicators. I've showed you before the Peikel Sci-Top indicator, and I've talked about how I will be using this. I have the premium version here on TradingView. You just go ahead and subscribe to their Patreon, and you could get it. As we get close to the top, I will be using this and sharing this with you to show you what's happening over here. This is used only on the daily time frame, by the way. But if I zoom out and I show you right over here, the last cycle top, as this yellow line crossed the green line over here, that was the perfect, when I say perfect, the best exit I know of on Bitcoin. And that was only on that cycle. If you go back to the previous cycle top, the same exact thing, when the yellow crossed the green line over here, that was the best exit you could get towards the top. I will be sharing that with you regularly as it comes into play and into focus. Obviously, we're still months away from that right now. Nevertheless, if you want to know more about it, go to lookintobitcoin.com. You could find under the charts over here, go to Peikel Sci-Top, Pi Cycle Top Indicator, and you could go ahead and you could read about it, understand what the indicator is, how it can be used. You all know that I kind of use things my own way and differently. I don't even care what it does. I don't, just like the stock to flow model, I don't even care what it is, what it's explaining, what it's doing, because I don't use it for the way it's intended. I use it for my own purposes. Same thing over here on the Pi Cycle Top indicator. Nevertheless, here's what I want to point out to you over here. And notice over here a couple of things. You all know that I look at the past cycle as, because of the pattern, the similarity of this current cycle, of the past cycles. It's just a guide along the way, right? And you all know that I've looked often at the past cycle, and it's been giving me, right, a very clear indication of how this current cycle is unfolding, which is why I've been able to stay really on the pulse of Bitcoin as I have. Now, one of the things that I want to point out to you over here on this current cycle right now, we would be kind of over here. This is, when I say over here, let me show you exactly what I mean. This was the last all-time high over here on Bitcoin in the last cycle, right? And once we broke out of it, right, we had another 30% pullback, but then we made this strong run-up. That's where we are right now, in this strong run-up right over here. This is, by the way, in this past cycle, this is the last halving. Prior to that was in July. This spot over here, the distance, how many months it is from the halving to get to over here, this is about 11 months away, 11, 12 months from where we are right now. Now, we are not that far away, right, since this last halving over here. No. We are only 8 months after the last halving. You could see that we are about 3 months ahead of the last cycle. You all know I've said that I believe this cycle will be shorter than the last. Lengthening cycles, no, this cycle is going to be shorter, in my opinion. Now, if I see something different along the way, obviously I'll let you know. But the current price action is another indication that perhaps this is going to be a shorter price action as well. Now, how I came to that conclusion, by the way, of this cycle being shorter over here, you might have noticed this tweet that I shared just the other day. We had over here, this was, I can't pronounce his name, to excuse my inability, but it's Kamath, right? I can't pronounce his name. Listen, he went out and he tweeted, everyone's familiar with him, I know that. He went out and tweeted out, listen, when Bitcoin gets to 150K, I'm gonna buy the Hamptons. And I'm gonna convert it to a sleepaway camp for kids, working farms, and low-cost housing. I do hope he's serious, because that's not too far off. I went ahead and I said, remind me of this 265 days from now, on September 21st, 2021. Why would I do that? because I firmly believe strongly that by that date we'll have surpassed $150,000. Want to make sure putting something out there like that he is held accountable. By the way, what would the taxes be alone on the property yearly for doing something like that? I have no idea. That would be beautiful to see. I really hope it happens. I know that, or I firmly believe that this is going to happen. Why did I say September 21st, 2021? If you notice over here, I've shared this with you all before. This was shared by the Russian Bear over on Twitter, and he went ahead and he showed you that if you look at the past low and then you take the number of the days to the halving, that's the cycle top if you use as many number of days. And he showed you 1, 2 instances of it happen, right? Bitcoin is math. Now we have this last bar, but this didn't seem correct to me. I was looking at the chart, something seemed off. I looked a little further into it. This, by the way, is a great follow on Twitter. He pointed out, no, listen, you're close. You're right there. It's actually, if you take the low, the actual low of the cycle to the halving, in this case, 375 days, and then approximately less 2%, that's the peak of the upcoming cycle. Right? Again, in the next cycle, it worked out. You took the low, the exact low of the cycle to the halving, 539 days, less 2%, approximately less 2%, and you get the peak, right? Just a guide. In this current cycle. The reason I've been saying, no, I expect this cycle to be shortening, or at least come the end of September, I'm going to be really, really alert here for a cycle top. I'm going to be watching price action. I'm going to be watching other indicators, trying to see if this is what I believe is going to be the top of the cycle. Is for this very reason right over here. You have 513 days from the cycle low to the halving, less approximately 2%, gives you the 21st of September. It's something to pay attention to as these cycles repeat themselves. Maybe not exactly, but very, very close. Now, when I look at the current price and I see that, wow, we are actually a few months ahead of the previous cycle, looking at price action and the acceleration we're seeing, is that perhaps a sign that, yes, the cycle is going to peak out a little bit earlier? Everything here is showing me that is what's going to occur. Do notice over here, I wanted to show you something else over here. This was also on lookintobitcoin.com. This is people who have been holding Bitcoin for a year or longer, and you can see over here, once we get towards this area over here of over 61%, 60% on Bitcoin, that's when really we get close to the halving and you start seeing Bitcoin really rise up. Look what's happening over here as more and more people are now entering Bitcoin. That number is descending, and look at the angle in which it's descending. It's starting to really come down now over here. If I fast forward over here, I could see this is when the cycle started accelerating in this area. I could see that we are ahead of the cycle than we were last cycle. Something to pay attention to. Also over here, I want you to focus on the green line right now, on this green line. It was all the way in May of last cycle that we popped up above that green line. We have already popped up above that green line. We are ahead of schedule. Everything that I'm seeing right now is pointing to two things. It's pointing to a shorter cycle, and it's pointing to increased returns to last cycle. Now, you all know that I have gone ahead and I've set my sights on 140 Bitcoin as the target. Mission accomplished. All the goals should be achieved, right? 160,000. That would be using actually diminishing returns. In my mindset, whenever I run a marathon, it's kind of like until I get to like mile 18, I pretend to myself that it's just beginning. Or when I go on a really long drive, for the first half, first 3 quarters, I pretend that like the drive is just beginning. And it really helps me set my whole mindset. It's the same thing here with Bitcoin. This is how I have my mindset programmed over here. And as we get over there, right? And maybe then it's game time, and then maybe I really need to focus in with all of you, and we need to make sure that we do our best to get out the best we can as close to the cycle top. And I do believe there's going to be a cycle top over here. I do believe that we're going to enter that bear market. There's a lot of other stuff that I wanted to focus in on. I could come over here and show you this over here. I have an indication of when we're going to be seeing that next cycle bottom. You all have known, I've said, well, Bitcoin is cheap under $30,000, $35,000 because I don't think that we're going to trade under that in the coming bear market. I have to kind of go with the flow, go with what the market is showing me and readjust that if that's what it is showing me. I happen to believe I'm probably wrong. Now remember, I was doing all of that math based off of 160,000. I will be happy as can be if we reach 160,000, 140,000 target, right? But my math on 35,000, 30,000 and Bitcoin trading below that being cheap was based off the next cycle low not being below that. It looks like that could be significantly higher, or has the possibility to be significantly higher. I want to show you something really special right now, and anyone who's stayed around this long, well, then you deserve to see it. Please go ahead and smash that like button right over here and right now, because you're still here, and I'm grateful for you and for that. But I want you to focus on this over here. If you count how many months after the halving, if you count how many dots after the halving over here. Now, listen, this is not exact. Why I say it's not exact? Well, because I'm just counting dots, okay? Over here we have a black dot, right? Is there a black? I'm not exactly sure, but if you count the number of colored dots after the halving event over here, and you count 11 dots over here in this cycle, and then follow my mouse to the right. Remember, I've always showed you it's 15 months to the next halving is the cycle low, that dark green dot. Count 11 dots up, and then forward to the right, and you can see that's right around the low. Do it again, count 11 dots over here, move to the right, and you could see that's the cycle low once again. What does that mean, right? What does that mean for me? That means to me, right, as we get to next April, this coming April, just 4 months away, but 4 months away, 4 more months to accumulate cheap Bitcoin, from my opinion, 4 more months of accumulating Bitcoin underneath the next cycle low. I do believe as we come in towards April, right? How many dots do we have so far? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dots will be this month, tomorrow. So maybe it's March. In March, then we should see 3 more months. We should see that cycle low, what the next bear market low should be. Is that infallible? No. Is that something you should be paying attention to? Absolutely. Will that help us probably or potentially project what the high print might be? Absolutely. I don't feel like doing the math right now, but I'll be doing it with you soon for sure. We'll be looking at what that cycle low to the top was, what type of percent gain that was, and then we'll have an indication of what we might be targeting here as well. Again, the markets are fluid. The markets are ever changing. Doing my best always to be on that pulse of the markets and share whatever I'm exploring, whatever I see with you. That's what we do here. 2021 is going to be absolutely epic, as 2020 was, and I'm looking forward to sharing this journey with all of you. So let me just quickly sum this up for you really quick. I do believe that this current cycle, from what I'm seeing, that is going to be a shorter cycle than last cycle. Listen, this is in no way, shape, or form a dig at people that are saying that we're seeing lengthening cycles and diminishing returns whatsoever. That's their work. You should consider it. They're probably really good people, for sure. I don't know anything about it, but I'm going to share my work with you. I'm going to share the work that I believe has been the most spot on out of anybody, and keep sharing that with you. Just sharing what I have going on inside me with you. From my perspective, I very clearly see that we are looking what looks to appear to be a shorter cycle than the last cycle. And at the same time, it also looks like the returns have the potential to be higher as well than the last cycle. What type of price target that puts on Bitcoin? Is it somewhere around 320,000 or whatever? I don't know yet, and I don't want to know right now, right? I just want to go ahead, keep my head down, doing what we need to do to stay focused and on the right side of the market. And we're going to do our best to nail it. Everyone, have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful new year. May God bless you all, and I thank you.